We break down the four apocalyptic horsemen for y'all real quick. In short, just to explain what it means in the Bible, right? The four apocalyptic horsemen are humanity's most destructive forces, right? It was all prophesied of what's to come or what's to happen or whatnot. Now, all that I'm doing is taking their definition or what they describe these forces to be and comparing it to your very own being. Basically, right, how it affects you physically, mentally, and spiritually. Now, before I begin, right, I want to let y'all know that the mind is the bridge between the body, which is a physical, right, and your spirit, which is beyond the physical. You could say that's more spiritual, right, more in the spiritual than physical, in which your spirit is more directly linked to the cosmos, right, or the universe, and your body resides in the physical. And so the mind is that gap, is that bridge that sends information in between both. So now that I cleared that up, right, and this is to help what I'm about to explain, right? So we're gonna talk about the white horse first, right? Whose name is Conquest. And Conquest's job is to deceive, to go all around spreading lies and deception all around within your own mind. You see, Conquest's appearance is he has a bow and wears a crown, right? And so it's his job being to deceive the mind, right? His job is to cut off that connection from your spirit or your true spirit. Within your own spirit, you have a lot of ideals, you have a lot of self-expression, you have a lot of self-worth. And with them cutting that all off, right, they're able to deceive you and feed stuff into your mind. You see, spiritually, right, in a positive light, that crown represents divine oneness or divine authority, while that bow represents focusing of intent. With the bow, you have to be sharp with it, right? You gotta aim correctly. You gotta position your arms and body correctly. And you also gotta release it at the right moment, at the right time. For you to be accurate, right, you have to have a clear mind. You have to have a clear intent on where you want that arrow to go. So their representation of the bow, right, is spread of deception, while their representation of the crown will be domination. And this leads us to the red horse, right? But through deceiving you and letting y'all know that it's okay to suffer, it's okay to go through pain, it leads us to go into the red horse, which deals with war. His name is War, and I forgot to tell you that Conquest, right? He deals with deception, right? But his main act of deception is religious deception. Again, all that I'm saying is what they say is prophesized. I'm saying how it affects you in the now, right now. Your very own being, your very own self that's living through it right now. So speeding up the process a little bit, right? We're going to talk about the red horse, whose name is War, right? War has a large sword, right? Which usually represents spiritual warfare or warfare, right? And has heavy effects on your body. Now, their representation of the red horse deals with mass conflicts and bloodshed. And yeah, that's very much true. That's going all around because they created it, right? It mainly deals with those who are trying to create that peace, right? Or that sense of peace. It deals with your mind going into battle. So the red horse, yes, it deals with your body, but it closely deals with your heart and how you choose to act out and go upon the choices you make through your heart. Now, moving on to the third horse, right, who's the black horse, whose name is Famine, deals with scarcity and economic collapses. It closely ties with the soul, and it's your mind choosing to give up or keep on. Now, moving on to the last horse, right, the pale horse, whose name is Death, and Hades follows behind him closely. And I made a video about this, about Hades, right? And I basically explained how Hades is a representation of the underworld, right? So basically, it's your mind in that lower place. Pale horse, which deals with death, pestilence, and also destruction of life. That is what it brings, or that's what they call and they deem it to bring. Death being closely associated with the mind, which then leads us to the final, or the hidden horseman, right? This is the fifth horseman, It's the Joker card. It can go either way. It can sink all the way to the bottom or rise all the way to the top. But you gotta choose that. This fifth horseman is universal. And this fifth horseman, this hidden horseman, goes by the motto of true death is within the mind, not the body. So this fifth horseman also identifies as those who have broken through all the mess, who have made it through all the conflicts, or simply those who have never been through those conflicts but have been teaching and helping others rise through those conflicts. That is what that fifth horseman identifies as or represents. This fifth horseman brings the knowledge and wisdom from all the other horsemen, whether they went through that battle themselves or they seen the battles, and then they take that knowledge and wisdom and they share it on throughout. But they tell you how to defeat each one of these. And starting with the first one, whose name is Conquest, who deals with deception all around, feeding you lies, getting you to believe what's not true. They tell you how to defeat it with spiritual oneness. Well, conquest closely related to the spirit of yourself, or the noun, right? We move on to the body of the noun, right? Which is the red horse, who deals with war. And your mind going into a constant battle of rage, anger, violence. It's mass conflict and bloodshed. They teach you how to deal with this through a peace of mind, a peace of self. Remember, you became that fifth horseman and you realize true death is within the mind, not the body. And so all the other horsemen can't relate to you if you realize that. But moving on, we're going to the third horseman, who is famine, right? The black horse. Black horse who deals with scarcity and economic collapses. It teaches you being that fifth horseman. It teaches you within your own self that self-empowerment, realizing all that energy is yours. And that doesn't matter if this shit falls, if all that goes away. Because we was given that the power in the first place. We all was. So after reclaiming your spirit back, after reclaiming your body back, after reclaiming your soul back, you begin to reclaim your mind back. You take back what was lost. You know that within your mind is the pale horse, is death. And death destroys life. But the fifth horse comes along, right? That openness, that mindfulness comes along and teaches you to be that upliftment to life instead of that destroyer to life. So fam, just to make it easier for y'all to figure out what I'm saying, right? I basically explained the representation of what they gave you and prophesized in the Bible. I basically told you how to deal with them, right? And I basically how and which areas it's affecting you in. Remember, family, your mind is the bridge, right? And so true death is within the mind, not the body. If they cut off that bridge, right, you no longer have that connection. And so you're trying to make your way to where you're building that bridge back up and reforming that connection. But with that being said, family, I love you all vibrating high and continue to vibrate high. So peace and Ashe.